Oh, Jesus Christ. I need a second. Just after reading this last chapter, I just need to freaking catch my breath, guys. Just give me a freaking minute. Oh, okay. Alright. One Punch Man chapter 72.2, whatever. This is free. They just went all DBZ with it, like they did, and it was beautiful. I'm talking like, speed blitz attack, zooming around, full page spreads, giant lasers, and people blocking giant lasers, and basically like a beam struggle. There's kicks, and there's punches, and there's electricity, and zip, 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 and shit like that. Okay, so... Oh, I don't even know where to begin this. Okay, beginning. That would probably be nice. Okay, so Goketsu has introduced all the monster cells to all the members of the Super Fight tournament, and the ones that actually ingested the cells were, Rose, but Rose got kind of fucking neck broken by Choze. Was it Rosie or Rose? I feel like a man having the name Rosie is just, not accurate. Although, then again, Dave's name is Debu, which is like a Japanese term for fat. So, that fat guy, the sumo guy, his name is literally just fat, okay? But anyway, Rose got killed, and the ones that ingested the cells were Benpatsu, like the martial artist dude. He got a third eye. Hikamokachi, or the Hemokachi, I don't forget his name. The guy with the sunflower dojo, the big bulky guy with the scars all over his body. He turned into a bear thing with the kanji for food on his chest. Volton, who is probably the coolest out of them all, I would say, and he basically turns into like this electrical entity. He like loses his physical body, and it's just like a bunch of like lightning wearing clothes. So that was pretty cool. And then we had Choze, who ingested the cells, and his shirt kind of like melded to him, and he got like these jagged edges and spikes and fucking horns coming out of his head and shit, and his lips kind of like disappeared and curled in, so there's like just like cracks and shit around his mouth. So that was pretty cool. Goketsu has his monsters ready to go, and he's telling everybody else to ingest the cells. Suiryu is, of course, not having any of that. He's pretty chill about the whole thing, and just proceeds to curb stomp every single monster there except for Choze. He literally takes out like 3 of them in like the first 2 pages. Like, he literally just goes up to Benpatsu, kicks him in the face, sunflower dude shows up behind him, fucking just bam, right in the back, and then just grabs Benpatsu's freaking ponytail and just crushes Volton on top of it. So 3 of the monsters are immediately taken out, which I find a little bit disappointing. I thought they could do some more shit than that. But whatever, what are you gonna do, right? It's fucking Suiryu, and you gotta have him be badass, and that's good that we're finally seeing him, like, relay his full repertoire of attacks with the Void Fist, because, I was kind of disappointed when he fought Saitama. Not because Saitama won or anything, because, well, no shit, but because we didn't really get to see a full scale of what he could do in battle. Even at the end of that fight, it looked like he still had some, fight in him, and he did. This was right after his fight with Saitama, and he's still ready to go, basically. So, he takes out those 3 guys, really with no problems at all, and then it's Suiryu versus Choze. I really wish they would have relayed the power levels of these monsters a little bit, though, because we got Goketsu, who is Dragon. But that's one of the problems with the power ranking in One Punch Man, is that there's only like 5. And one of which being God, that we've never seen before and probably won't see for some time. And then there's the other one is Wolf, which is just like so weak it doesn't matter. So the ones that we normally deal with are Tiger, Demon, and Dragon. Tiger being pretty much not a big deal when it comes to fighters of Suiryu's caliber, Demon not much either. So I would like to say that all the monsters that were created by Goketsu here, that the tournament fighters, the martial artists turned into, I want to say they're at least Demon level. But then you get to Choze, who is obviously like a league and beyond all of them. So, would Choze be Dragon level? Because we could see him doing some pretty cool shit, and he manages to kind of Suiryu pretty damn evenly matched there for a while. But then you get to Goketsu, who's Dragon. What I feel like they should do is have, like, levels inside of the levels just to give us more shit to work with here. Like, low dragon, medium dragon, high level dragon. Because if you're, like... Because there's some dragons that, like Carnage Kabuto was considered a dragon level. And so was Goketsu, and so was Boros. I feel like Boros could take out Carnage Kabuto relatively easily. That's just me. But I feel like there needs to be rankings inside of rankings here. But yeah, so most of the fight is most of the chapter is Suiryu versus Choze. And Choze's thing, on top of just being physically strong, they managed to, punch each other and they're both bleeding and Suiryu gets knocked back and he's like, you're kind of good. And Choze's just like, kind of? And they just, they fucking intense battle, man. I mean, there's a scene where they go all fucking speed blitz, like just right out of DBZ pretty much, and just pew, 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 all over the freaking page. It's beautiful to look at. A lot of great art in this chapter in general. Choze's special technique that we get to see is his human annihilation cannon. See, he goes on a whole thing. See, he's basically like part of like the master race, the master race, or the corn race, as Saitama put it. But his idea is like, okay, when I was a human, we just wanted to rule the world. But now that I'm a monster, I feel like that's kind of beneath me. I just want to kill everybody that's inferior, and then they'll have to pass a very strict screening process, and only those that pass this process will be able to live in my now pure world. So yeah, way to go, Choze. Just he's sounding a lot like somebody in history that I read about this one time. I can't for the life of me figure this out. But no, his ultimate attack is his human annihilation cannon, or some such like that, where he literally just charges up a beam on in between his horns and just fires it off like that. You might as well just call it the fucking Nazi cannon, pretty much. The ethnic cleansing beam. I don't know, but that's pretty much what it is. This attack even catches Suiryu a little bit off guard. When he launches it, he's just like, what? And then he just kind of does this thing where he like takes a breather. It's like, okay, guess I'm deflecting a fucking Kamehameha today, and then just BAM! And then it's a fucking beam struggle is what it is. It's incredible. And you have this moment where Suiryu's getting pushed back by the beam. One of his the muscle braces he has on his arm from when he fought Saitama, one of them broke when he was fighting Saitama. The other one gets broken, and he just, like, in this epic moment, man, he just, like, this is nothing, and he just kicks the goddamn thing through the freaking arena, breaks through the sky, and then he goes up, freaking grabs Choze by the horns, and just fucking knees him right in the freaking face, rips off his horns. They get into a more intense battle before it ends with Choze just getting a fist just dug straight into his freaking chest area. Sorry, it's this one. Void Quake Tiger Fist, with the epic sun glaring in the background from the clouds that got opening up, followed with the Void Rising Phoenix Fist, which just obliterates Choze. It's important to mention, by the way, that after the monsters apparently were defeated, they seem to revert back into their original human form. I noticed that. It was only in one panel, but I don't know if they're dead and that's why they turned back, or they just turned back because they were just having the ever-loving shit beaten out of them by Suiryu there. Yeah, that's fucking cool. Like, I can't really say anything against that other than I wish that Choze maybe would have had a little bit, because, he got turned into a monster. I'm like, okay, all the other ones are just freaking riffraff. Like, who cares? Like, oh, yes, Benpatsu, with his third eye, he will surely become a huge threat in the monster world. No, obviously, that's not what I was expecting, but I was expecting them to be taken out easily. I was expecting Choze to have a little bit more of an action. I was expecting him to be dragon level and be like really cool, maybe a part in the Monster Association arc that's coming up, or some such like that. But no, I mean, if nothing else, we got to see a full scale utilization of Suiryu's techniques. We got to see him finally getting pushed back, like, oh shit, okay. And he even says, like, after he defeats Choze, he's like, damn, I'm bleeding here. That hasn't happened for a while. And so he looks up at Goketsu, and he has this moment where he's looking at him, and he's just like, okay, shit. And you have this look on Suiryu's face where he's just like, I've realized that this isn't going to be easy, or this is... Because when he was at the beginning of the chapter, he's just like, yeah, I got this, guys, no problem. Hey, girl, want to go out later? It's fine. Take out these pitiful martial artist monster knockoffs, whatever, these stupid-ass cosplayers. Then we'll take on the first champion, and then we'll be good. We can go out to Denny's or something like that. But after he defeats Choze, and he barely defeats Choze, and he's kind of winded here, he's just like, whew, okay, and this guy's probably stronger. Shit. There's a scene where Goketsu basically just tries one more time to, bring Suiryu over to his side, where he's like, hey, look, you're pretty strong. You'd be kind of a waste. If you just shut up and eat the damn monster cell, you could probably become one of the higher ranking members of the Monster Association. Suiryu, no doubt in my mind, if he would have eaten a monster cell, he would definitely be dragon level. Like, I think that's pretty obvious. But he doesn't. There's a scene where he's about to. There's a scene where Goketsu says, come on, I mean, if you just turn into a monster, monsters are going to rule the world anyway. You know, money, all this, you know, all the politics, religion, all that stuff's just going to fall and collapse, and it's just going to be the monsters that rule everything. So if you're a monster, then you get to have the most freedom. And Suiryu picks up the cell, and he's about to eat it, but then he just, like, thwacks it right in Goketsu's freaking eyeball, well, one of them, and he's just like, nah, because I'm not, you know, I guess living free is one thing, but there's no way I'm going to be like a fucking ugly-ass son bitch like you, essentially. And he just, you know, jumps up, charges up Void Sky Dragon Fist, and then just starts slamming it into the side of Goketsu. Everyone's just like, oh yeah, damn, this is going to be cool, he won! Poof. Fucking just gets slammed to the ground, pounded in like a freaking fence post into the arena by Goketsu. Now, he doesn't die. It's not like Goketsu grabbed him and just, like, twisted him in freaking half or whatever. But it's very clear there's a gap in power now. Now, a lot of people, I feel, might get disappointed by this. They might be like, ah, damn it, I thought Suiryu was going to be dragon level. Damn it. I'm kind of disappointed now. Alright, well, there are a few things you have to keep in mind here. One of them is, like I said, I think there's different levels when it comes to the dragon rank. You know, if Goketsu's going to be in like an upper echelon of being in the dragon category, I could still see Suiryu maybe being in the lower echelon, or at the very bare minimum in the upper echelon of demon. Because Suiryu is fucking strong. We've seen him be really strong, right? So, you know, Goketsu, the way that he was talked about by the Monster King, it would seem like he's pretty high up in the Monster Association. Like, he might even be, like, one of their top-ranking members, like, in the top 3 strongest fighters. I mean, he fucking knocked Genos into a freaking crater. I mean, who's ever done that before? Okay, a lot of people. Poor Genos. Genos always gets knocked into a crater. That sucks for him. But, yeah, I mean, he might be one of the strongest members of this entire group we're talking about here. But Suiryu is not dead. He got pounded into the freaking arena and blood began to spout out of him like Old Faithful, but he's not dead. You know, he might get back up and might try to fight. I don't think it's going to end too well. But I don't know where this is going to go, really. Because Suiryu, I think it's stated you can't force somebody into monstrification. You know, if that was the case, Goketsu would have just had all the crows hold everybody down and just, like, forcibly ingested them. I think you have to eat them yourself. So, either Suiryu is going to turn into a monster, which I could see that going down, but, you know, I guess that's not the case with this chapter because the way he said it, but he's about to die now, so he might change his tune a little bit. Or he's going to die, which that would kind of suck, because that would be kind of a waste of a pretty cool character, I feel. Or Goketsu is just going to think he's dead, or just going to walk away, or just not care, which I don't see that going down. He's a monster. He's kind of ruthless. That's the whole point. So if Suiryu's... I don't think he's going to be like, oh, okay, well, you look like you're dead, so I'm out of here. Suiryu might die, the way I'm still looking at these options here. Either that, I guess the fourth option, Saitama shows up to save him, but that's not usually how Saitama does things, you know, because that would be like that'd be a really cool scene, and every time Saitama tries to do something cool on purpose, it always backfires horribly. I mean, he's done cool stuff, but it's always been by accident. Have you ever noticed that? You know, I don't think it's like Saitama's gonna show up at the last minute and just, like, kick Goketsu on the side of the face and just gets knocked to the other side of the arena and he's like, sorry, I'm late, Suiryu, or some shit like that. I don't think that's gonna go down. But yeah, it was a pretty intense chapter. It really took the wind out of me. It was released a few days ago, actually. But there was a few pages that were missing. I read it on like another translation site, one that I don't usually go to. And there was a few pages that were mixed up and stuff, and there was a few pages that were mixing. So this was the first time I actually got to see it in its entirety. I didn't even see the last page of this. The page here with, Goketsu just being like, then die. I didn't even see that up until today. So I wanted to make sure I got the full picture here. But yeah, this might just follow the basic shonen formula of we get to see a character being super, super badass and then immediately dying afterwards. I would hope that Murata doesn't do something like that. Especially since Suiryu is kind of his character. Suiryu was not in the webcomic. This was a complete creation from Murata's side. Maybe there was some discussions with one on how the character would go, be designed and, and how his power level would shake out and everything. But this is this manga's sole creation. And, I would feel like you could actually do stuff with him, rather than just have him be around for one arc, look cool, and then just immediately have him get killed and never mentioned again. I think you could do some really fun stuff with this character beyond this. I want to say, honestly, that they kind of... There was a scene where, he was about to eat the thing, and he decided not to. And that was kind of weird, because I thought for sure he was going to get turned into a monster. And the reason he gives for not wanting to become a monster doesn't really fit with a lot of stuff he's... Because Suiryu's always said stuff about how he wants to be free. That's the one thing he wants to be in his life. The reason I'm strong is so, the strong can do, anything. They don't have to be shackled down. They have the most freedom in the world. And so that's his deal. But then after, he's about to eat that because Goketsu's like, eat it and then you can be free in the monster world. And he's like, yeah, okay, sure. But then he turns it down because, like, I don't want to be ugly like you. I don't know if that was character development or that I was missing something, because Suiryu, yeah, he's a pretty attractive guy. He's like the playboy type, but he's never been a guy that's ever been like, I'm so beautiful. He's not like a My Mask, He's not like, I'm so gorgeous, I'm so beautiful, I'm Suiryu. No, he's been always pretty laid back guy that just, wants to have just everything go his way, essentially. But he's never been really, he's never had a lot of vanity or anything like that in that regard. He has a pretty big ego when it comes to fighting, but never about his physical appearance. It's like, I don't want to be ugly like you. I felt like that just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, that's a shoehorn excuse for not wanting to become a monster. And maybe he's like, all right, I gotta take him out of the plot now because, I'm going to this new arc and I can't have Suiryu, you were fun, bro, to have around, but I gotta get rid of you now. I really hope that's not the case. But what do you guys think? Comment below, subscribe, like, all that shit. Yeah, pretty intense chapter. Hope we keep up with the weekly releases. We didn't get one last week, but even if we can keep it a bi-weekly thing, because the monthly stuff, you get something really epic, and then you have to wait another month to get another chapter, and the chapters go by really quick when how freaking intense they are. So if even we can keep this 2 times a month, I would be content with that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. This will be Tekking101 signing out. Later, guys.